The tapes from the attic. In 2014, my wife, our 2 children, and I moved into a beautiful old mansion nestled in a small town lost in countryside. From the first visit, we were hooked by this house. Spacious, bright rooms, a huge garden perfect for the kids, and that indefinable charm of old buildings. I still remember our first day here. Running around the garden near the old rusted swing, imagining adventures in their new kingdom. My wife, meanwhile, was softly humming while unpacking boxes in the living room. Inspired by this idyllic atmosphere, I pulled out my old VHS camcorder, a relic from my youth, and began filming. I liked capturing those precious moments to create time capsules that we could rewatch together years later. The attic, on the other hand, had a completely different vibe. A dusty room, cluttered with old furniture, sealed boxes, and forgotten toys. During the tour, we had decided not to bother with it right away. After all, the house was already spacious enough for this place to remain an abandoned storage area. A few months ago, taking advantage of a long weekend, I decided to tackle cleaning out the attic. I planned to turn it into a small woodworking shop for my own pleasure. My wife laughed, teasing me that I'd probably come back covered in dust and without having thrown anything away. The attic was complete chaos. An hour spent moving wobbly wardrobes and dusty boxes left me perplexed, nothing interesting, just relics from another time. That's when I stumbled upon a taped-up cardboard box, tucked into a dark corner behind a dresser. Curious, I decided to open it and found inside about 40 VHS tapes, neatly arranged. Each tape was labeled with a name and a date, with between 5 and 10 tapes per name: Anderson, 1986 to 1991, Miller, 1992 to 1998, Johnson, 1999 to 2006, Turner, 2007 to 2014. Fascinated, I set the box aside, promising myself I'd take a look at the tapes later that evening. Once the kids were asleep, I set up my old VHS player in my office. I inserted the first tape, expecting to either find something uninteresting or, who knows, maybe something interesting. The first video caught me off guard. It showed a family, presumably the Andersons according to the label on the tape, freshly settled into our house. The father, smiling, explained that he wanted to immortalize their life here. The mother laughed while unpacking, and the kids played in the garden. An oddly familiar scene. But as I watched the tapes, the atmosphere changed. The videos, spaced out over several months, revealed a gradual deterioration. The laughter faded. The faces grew tired, worried. The children seemed calmer, more distant, almost fearful. A 1988 tape showed the mother cooking, while one child, motionless, stared at the camera for long minutes without blinking. Another, dated 1990, showed the father walking through the house at night, filming empty rooms while muttering incoherent words. The last videos were terrifying. There were arguments, muffled screams, and a father with a vacant expression. In one scene, he filmed his children sleeping in silence. In another, he stared at the camera, wearing a disturbing, wide smile. The last tapes, dated 1991, were the most disturbing. The house was in chaos. In the very last video, the man films his wife and children sitting at the dinner table before heading into the kitchen, then suddenly stops as he places the camera on the floor, filming the wall. Then there's a scream, and the video cuts out. The same pattern repeated with the other families, always a joyful introduction, followed by a downward spiral into chaos. The last video of the Turners showed the father walking slowly down the hallway, whispering between ragged breaths, "Soon is soon."